is a big day, y'all. It is a big day. My mother, Herman Jean Christian, whenever I get the opportunity to speak in front of people, I mention my mother's name because she was my first teacher. My mother was an English teacher at the high school level when she got pregnant. And she sidestepped her career to raise me until she could get me out of the house in the first grade. My mother says that I started reading early, and so she decided that she had given me everything that she could in terms of the preparation that I would need for kindergarten. And so she lied to the Catholic nuns. I'm really sorry, sister. And told them that I was in fact a year older than I was. And she sent me to school, and I never looked back. You see, my mother, coming from the field of education, knew that the best tool possible for me in terms of leveling the playing field in a world that would sometimes be hostile to my presence simply because of the color of my skin. And education was essential. My mother pushed me relentlessly. My mother is 4'10" and a half. She weighs about $120 on a good day. I'm 56 years old and still afraid of this woman. So when I say that my mother pushed me relentlessly, believe that. Everything in my mother's household was done Herman Jean's way. Some of you may have mothers who were similarly disposed. We did shit Herman Jean's way growing up, because that's the way it was. My mother was a full-time social worker throughout the course of my elementary and then high school education. She worked all day and made sure that we, my two sisters and myself, had the best education possible. I feel it really appropriate that the roots of this education institution are indeed spiritual. I was educated, I shared with Sister Living, for the most part by Catholic nuns the whole of my life. I spent 4 years in a Catholic seminary studying for the priesthood, and that's another story. But education has been the hallmark of the people in my family. You are a Burton, you are an educator. My mother, my younger sister, my older sister, my son, 2 nieces, a nephew, and 3 cousins, all in the field of education. And so what I don't need to share with you, but I will just the same, none of us gets here by ourselves. We stand the beneficiaries of countless numbers of souls who have made unbelievable sacrifices so that we can be where we are. I went to the White House recently, and it was remarkable for me. Not because I was at the White House, I had been to the White House before, and I've met presidents before, but I went to the White House a few weeks ago for the White House Science Fair. Every year for the past 8 years, President Obama has brought national scholars at the elementary and high school level in STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math, and he's brought them to the White House and put on a science fair and celebrated them. Much in the same way he does NCAA champions or Super Bowl champs. They come to the White House. And the president believes that these kids and our future are inextricably linked, that there is no way to pull them apart. And so after a morning's activities at the science fair, the White House staff gathered everybody in the east room of the White House. Probably, I know you've seen this room numbers of times on television. Gold drapes and the president's podium there in the middle of the room. And I walked into the east room of the White House, and there was down in the front row a chair with my name placed on it. And I took a picture of it on my Twitter. You gotta capture your content. You gotta share it. So I took a picture for my Twitter feed later. And the president he made a speech, and he introduced some of the kids, and he introduced a new initiative to really connect these kids and kids like them with the business community to really begin to improve that pathway toward them being the next inventors, scientists, engineers. See, I believe in the power of that which we believe about ourselves. I believe in the power of the imagination. I literally believe that there was some young kid who saw those original episodes of Star Trek. Right? Woo! That child became a scientist, an engineer, a designer of product, and is responsible today for a piece of technology more prevalent than the toaster. You see, that child grew up seeing those indelible images of Captain Kirk reaching to that velcro place on his hip because apparently there are no pockets in the future. And he pulled out from behind his hip that device, he flipped it open, and he called the ship, says, that child grew up seeing those images, living with those images, believing in the possibility of those images, and has designed a piece of technology more prevalent on the planet than the toaster. By a show of hands, how many people have ever used or been near someone using a flip cell phone? That which we imagine is what we tend to manifest. And so the president really gets it. He wanted to encourage these kids to keep dreaming, to keep imagining, to keep creating. And so after his remarks, he came down and he was shaking hands with the people in the first row. And I'm incredibly excited. I had not met Barack Obama. And as the president approached me and he's shaking the hand of the person next to me, he looks up and my eyes meet him and he breaks out to a grin, and I realize the president knows who Kunta is! And so it was breaking protocol because you weren't supposed to have cameras in this room. But I had to take my shot, and I asked the president, can I get that twit pic? And he smiled and said, I'm going to let you do that. And instead of shaking the hand of the person to my right, he went to the person behind me so I could do that. But it wasn't until I got back to my hotel room and was reliving the day through the pictures that I had taken, I got to that picture of the place called my name. And in my mind, I superimposed under my name, LeVar Burton, the name Kunta. K-U-N-T-A. And suddenly the emotion was overwhelming to me. You see, it wasn't just LeVar, meaning President Barack Obama. It was Kunta, meaning the Black President, Barack Obama, in the White House. And I recognized in that moment that I was standing in for my mom, for my mom, who came home from Korea and went to college on the GI Bill, for my sisters, for all of my cousins, aunts, and uncles. I was standing in for hundreds of thousands of soldiers who sacrificed, who bled, who died broken and disenfranchised so that I might stand there for them. We, each one of us, are stand-ins for those who have gone before us, those who have made the way, those who have made the way ready, those who have made sacrifices, your families. I'm astonished at the number of parents in the graduating class today. Y'all work hard 24/7, 365 to get it done. I'm amazed at how many members of the military are enrolled in this college this year. What I recognize in the graduating class of 2013 at Ashford University is that y'all are some get it done kind of folks. And me, I'm always looking for the right tool for the job. I think the right tool for the job always makes the job go better. So my question to you is, what kind of tool will you be now that you have worked it out? Got that piece of paper? Well, you're up here on the stage. You'll be up here in a minute. What kind of tool will you be? See, y'all, I'm looking to change the world, one children's book at a time. And I know that you all have your hearts set on leaving this world a better place than the one you inherited. So be mindful of the kind of tool you'll need. Be mindful then of what it is you focus on. Be mindful of the kinds of dreams you have. Because you see, dreams really do come true. I have no doubt about it. Dreams are the stuff of reality. They really are. And like that kid who grew up watching Star Trek, as we move forward in our lives and focus on those things we would like to see happen in this world, know, please know, that there is no thing you cannot accomplish if you put your mind to it and are willing to work hard enough at it. This experience at Ashford, I'm sure, has shown you that. Never forget the gift you have given, not just to yourselves, but to your families and to future generations. I am humbled to be in your presence. Y'all have overcome obstacles, big and small. You've traveled distances far and wide to be here today, and so I celebrate you. God bless you all. Get out there, kick some ass, take some names, continue to make your families proud. God bless you. The world is waiting for you. We need you. We need your strength, your energy, your drive, your commitment, your passion. Let's go forward, y'all. Let's get it done.